Right then, live match time again today, and we're at Weston Pools on a night match, and it is a special one, this one today. We're on the clay pit, so could be a big weight on the cards, 150 to 200 maybe, but we're fishing 5 till 9, so 4 hours, so let's see how we're getting on. So we're just gonna park up now, go and pay my money, see where we've drawn, get down to the peg, and then see how we get on. Right, we've drawn peg 22 on the pit, so a nice little draw. We left peg 12 and peg 26 in the bag, so I do feel like today that peg 22 will be a little bit better than them two. I think the wind's coming down. I've just looked in the car park and it's blowing towards like the clubhouse, which the way the clay pit's situated is probably like blowing down to that bank. So hopefully, excuse me, it's blowing down to us, because I feel like that's going to give us an advantage and an edge, because if there's some shallow fish on the long pole, say 13 metres, something like that, I might have to fish it a bit short. I'm going to have to see if the wind's blowing down there. But if there's some shallow fish about 13 odd metres, something like that, then I just feel like you'd be able to get a bigger one, which obviously helps with your weight. In night match, only 4 hours, you need to catch a big stamp fish really. Ideally, that'd be the best thing. So yeah, that's my shallow approach, just 4 mils I'm going to fish. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish 2 lines down either edge. Now the first line I'm going to fish to my left. I'm going to throw some 6 mils there, just on the top 4, top 5, see where it plums up nice. And then I think the shallow water's to my right, so I'm going to plumb up there. It might be like 2 or 3 foot depending. Now I am going to take some ground bait with me. I've got the new heavy ground bait from Sonia Baits, and I feel like that's really good for drawing fish into your peg. But I feel like if the fishing's good and I can't get tight to the bank, that's really important. I'm going to fish some micros. Now I'm going to try and wean them onto micros. So if I can't get tight to the bank, I'm going to take some micros with me. And if that's the case, I'm going to feed micros with a piece of corn, worm, or dead maggots on the hook, see which is better. But normally it's just corn on the hook. And why this is, I just feed a little bit less bait and just to create that little pile for them fish to come in on. So yeah, we've drawn a peg. Happy days. I hope the wind's going down there, because it'll make sure there's some bigger, older fish there. If not, we'll catch some stockier fish, like 10 ounces to £1.5 pounds, which isn't a bad, it's brilliant fishing. But yeah, dead simple. I'm going to set up a jigger, I'm going to set up a dibber, and I'm going to set up 2 edge lines. One's going to be quite positive, like an excess carp sort of rig on the bottom, and then the other one's going to be like an edge rig. So yeah, that's where we've drawn. Enough waffling now. I need to get down there because I'm running a little bit late because I got stuck in traffic. But yeah, let's get to the peg, get set up, and hopefully catch a load of fish. Right, so we just got down to the peg and a little bit embarrassed because the wind is, shall we say, smashing down. So, might be able to hear me, it's windy. Yeah, it's a big double peg. I'll probably sit here. Thinking I'm going to throw me 6 mils down the left edge. Just going to fish shallow out there, 30 metres if I can. Depending where I can break down. It's behind me. I'm going to put some ground. I'm going to find a nice little area there. Find a nice little area and put some ground bait micros that way. So that's what we're going to do. Wind's coming down, so that helps with shallow fishing. So we might be able to get off to a good start, and then obviously if the carp come in, then we can catch them. So I'm just going to get set up, get my gear for the trolley. I'm not setting much up. Two shallow rigs and 2 edge rigs. Probably about it. So we're going to go nice and positive, but not too positive. So we're going to get set up, got a nice little view there, we'll be able to get old Jack on the camera, so we'll be able to hopefully get some good footage. That's what it's all about, some good fishing, which is guaranteed down the clay pit, and some good footage. So I'm going to get stuck in, get set up, and I'll see you in a little while. Right, so that was a bit of a rush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my edge to start with. So I'm just going to put in, whoop, I'm going to put 2 pots of ground bait in a pot of micros. Still around that tree. Not really too fussed where it goes for now. It's a bit windy, so I do apologise if you can't really hear me. Should be able to. Now I've just put 2 pots of ground bait, a bit of corn in that one. And I'm just going to put 250 mil of, and throw some pellets down there to start with, some bait in, 250 mil of micros, Now it's like 2 foot deep there, but it's nice and flat. This wind is horrendous. And I got my pole out to fish 30 metres, but I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to fish I'm just going to fish my margin pole, so it's like 8 metres. I'm trying to lock it all down. Now, I'm going to start just on a 6mm. Now the reason because I've done that is because I haven't got any 8mm out of my bag yet. Oh, it's a bit chaotic. Right, let's get some bait fed. Slow down. Slow down. Turn that camera right. Right, I'm going to feed me shallow lines. I'm going to fish about 8 metres, like I said. Just going to spray 4mm in there. And I'm going to fish a bit further down my peg on 6s. So, battling from a height. Got a nice positive rig on there. So, I'm not going to get affected by the wind and stuff. A bit of a mad rush that. But yeah, I'll have to get some 8mm out in a minute. Where's me bag? Some hookables. A lot of fish topping down here. So we got some 8mm out. So my plan is to feed that shallow line 7-8 metres out. I've literally only set up a jigger, and a fixed rig. I don't feel like I'm going to have to chase them around. I want to be nice and positive with it. And I've literally fished, set up 4 metres down this edge. And I've potted it to the right there. There you go. Pull the elastic out that one. Right, so you just need to get nice and settled because I've had a bit chaotic, but I'll just talk through my gear when I've got a chance and the wind allows. But the reason why I started on 6s is because I know you can catch some carp on it. Oh my god, it's an F1. No way. No. That's not a bad start. £5 F1. That's huge, man. Oh, get him in the net. It's not a bad start to click him at. Pull my pants up. Now I know I put a 6 on to start with, but I just want a bit of a target hook bait, so I'll just get some 8 out. Right, just calm down a sec. 6mm, probably get like 15, quite positive, it's quite deep there, it's probably like 4.5 foot. But if I do get lined, I can't actually fish because of the wind. If I do get lined there, I can always come back to a top kit. I plumbed up that up as well. So, feed shallot. They've actually swirled down the edge already, which is mad. Now the keys of this is when I put my rig in here, literally if I can hold my rig out like that, sometimes when you lower it down like that, they just pull your elastic out. But so if the fishing gets too good and I feel like I need to come closer, I can always just drop that little bit closer. Really big F1 that one, first shot. I think if need to have a nice little start now. Wind is terrible. weird, it's not like blowing in one direction, it's like swirling. So yeah, I'm just going to feed some 6mm this side. I'm going to pop the edge of that side. It's already coloured up that way. I'm going to feed shallow as well. So it's got a nice simple jigger for shallow and a fixed rig as well. So if a fish come up swirling, you can literally put my fixed rig in and catch him that way. But literally that's coloured up all that down that to that left of them couple of pots I put in. Now if I feel like it is going to get good, might just change, like I said, change this to throw in pellets quite close in. Just depends how well it's going to fish. It feels really fishy today. So what I mean by that is just warm, it's windy, a bit wild. I can just come a bit closer. There's fish topping everywhere in front of me. Ideally I just want to have a nice, I didn't expect to catch really well in this to start with. I feel like you need to build these edges up, but that edge has come ridiculous. Not loads of fish there, but it's coloured up. Just feel like the first 90 minutes or so, probably first half of the match, if you can just get catching some fish shallow. I feel that's going to be the best way to build a weight, and then keep trying these edges. So keep dropping in the edge, keep having a look, because I've covered my options really. I'm fishing a little bit deeper, like 4.5 foot, and I'm going to fish a 2 foot one to my right. So just depending on the day. I haven't just gone both sides with shallow water tactics. I've gone, instead of fishing it in front of me, I'm going to throw it to my left, sort of. Now I know the bottom here is nice and gravelly, but like, I've just put a 8mm on, it really is selective. That's what I'm trying to do, just thinking, I just need a few carp. Them last 2 hours you could easily catch like 100, 120 pound of carp. There's not many fish now in this place, but you're not going to catch them straight away for 4 hours. I haven't seen anyone else hook a fish yet. One. Now on that line, I'll just speak about my rig. I've got a 15 hollow, so a nice strong elastic, and I'm still getting bottomed out on. And I've got an excess carp. Let's come off that. Just pulled out of that fish. Didn't seem right that, to be fair. Got an excess carp and a 4x16. I think that's important, just because, like you said, it's like I said before, it's a bit deeper, and I want my bait straight down to the bottom. And I've literally got a simple bulking one, and then a pre-tied KKH size 16, 017. So I'm not messing around with gear. Keep getting them pellets in, being quite aggressive with them pellets, because I'm not probably going to be fishing them late on. Probably going to try and catch in the edges, so. I'm creating a bit of noise with them and feeding them as well at the minute, just because I'm trying to attract some fish there. Don't want to throw them yet, because I don't feel like I don't know what's there, and I don't know if there's enough fish there, but a little bit delayed start, we're only 10 minutes in. So there's a lot of fish topping around. But we had a massive F1 to start with. It's a nice little start, like a £5 F1. But yeah, like I said in the intro, because the wind's blowing down here, it can be a great area to catch like shallow when the wind's coming down, and then in the edges. When the wind's off the back, it's not so great because a lot of fish sit in the middle of the lake and can be a little bit harder here. But when it blows like this, it can be really a good peg. As well, we've got loads of room as well, so. Actually left peg 12 in the bag. I think when I went to draw there was peg 22, peg 26 and peg 12. Now I've just slipped the 6mm back on there just because I thought it might be, maybe my hook weight was a little bit too big and there's not like enough carp there at the minute, but I'm not getting any signs or indications, so. Might be just a case of just give it time. Like I said before, these night matches are I find them a bit scatty just because I know it's only an hour less, but you always expect it to be really solid because you've had a day. When you fish in the day, after you finish the match it's solid, but I just think sometimes with the nets going in now it can be a bit weird, but hopefully it's good enough tonight. The last live match I filmed on here was an evening match, and I think I only had like £40, which is mad really considering. I'll throw some over the top. Now I could throw 4s there, but I just feel like I might track a few little stocky F1s and stuff, and I just feel like my gear's a bit. I'm trying to fish a night match and trying to target some bigger fish, so I thought, you know what, fish some 6mm, 6 or 8 on the hook. Yeah, it's not the best, that one. I'm going to come off that and just have a little look shallow, just because I feel like a little look shallow. So I'm going to get my jigger. Got it about 4 foot deep at the minute, but I'll just change it and see what we're like. I'm going to get a pellet, put a nice little red one on. Right, out we go. Let's slap it over and see how we're going to get with it. Oh, too far. There's one straight away. So I feel like this is what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to keep potting the right edge and keep. It's actually not a stocky, I don't think. Keep potting the right edge and keep throwing the left edge, and then hopefully persevere with these out there. And then when the time comes, we're just dropping the edge and we're going to gamble and try and do that. So that's what we're going to do in a minute. I'll tell you what though, you don't need many of them to catch a weight. I actually thought I was going to catch some stockies, but just need to tighten my feed up. But 2 fish at the start for £7, not too bad. A few nice pellets out there for the hook. Nice little red pellet. They're always quite good in this venue, or this lake. I'm just gonna give it a little feed before I go out. Seems the thing at the minute doing my shallow fishing. Keep popping that. Slap my jigger in, get right above it, and then feed again. Just lower it down. So at the minute I just want to try and see where the fish are. If I feel like they're quite high, I can literally, there goes one on the flick, I can literally pick up my fixed rig. That was quite deep, that was about 4 foot. Now because I fished it a little bit closer, I feel like that's what's might happen. I might have to catch a little bit deeper to start with, but I'll tell you what, I can't moan at that. I think it does out when the wind's hacking into the bank, but the old bad bit of netting. Yep, that's the ones you want. Look at the size of them. Big golden things. He hasn't spat me hook either, or spat me up bait. So we got 3 F1s for £9. Not bad. I didn't feed that time, but oh well. See, I feel like it's a little bit too long. I feel like if that's the case, it's because the wind, when it catches, it's going to move it. Yeah, that was a bite then, probably about 2 foot. I'm going to pick up my thingy rig. I can't think then. I've got a 4BH rig set up. I'm just going to pick that up just in case. Well, this could be an absolute bagging session. So this is where, like, if you feel like it's going to be really good, making them killer. I don't know why I'm a bit. Yeah, they're the ones. Look at them. I feel like if you're going to have that killer edge, it's making decisions early, and when the fishing is good enough, you can make the most of it. It's a bit too deep, that chicken. I'm going to get my fixed rig. I'm going to put him 2 foot deep, just to see. Nice 4B8, so nicely strung out. Nice and slow fall, so a little bit more control in my peg. And throw some 6s down there. So just feel a bit more in the groove now, as were before. I was a bit scatty because we were a bit. I forgot my nets. Jack had to go and get my nets. And I flick it out, keep it tight. I forgot my nets and we were trying to set the cameras up and stuff, so there you are, I just bite straight away. So sometimes that jigger isn't always the best. It's just about playing with your rigs, working out which is the best. And this might be good for a few fish and then you might catch just a few different ones, but the only thing I'm at the minute is looking good is the stamp's quite big. So that's going to come into it, because I thought I'd catch stockies on this, but obviously there's a lot of bigger F1s down this end of the lake. Is that a carp? It's a carp, that actually. That must be on an absolute pile. Ooh, it's going for the net. I hate when it does that. We're in a pickle here. Oh, it smashes your hook limp now. It's gone through its mouth into the net, into my leg. Just catching my leg. Ow! I can't actually do it. Don't flap. Right. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so what's going on here? Right, got him now. So that little decision to come off that line, it's been killer really. Just change like 4 or 5 fish, make sure your shotting pattern's nice, fishing through the water. Like before. Throw some 6mm there, probably expecting to catch. Can't even slap the rigging. Wind, man. There you go, we're in. Feel like them 6mm You can obviously feed that with ease, but then I'm going to have to like break my section down now and again. Lift and drop. And I'm going to have to feed that edge and keep it topped up. Oh. Yeah, the wind's like gusting round. So weird. Trying to keep the pole still. 9 impossible. I'm glad I've actually decided to fish this distance now, because I'm trying to fish 13 metres is an absolute nightmare. Don't get me wrong, you probably got to fish a chuck, but hopefully it dies down throughout the match. I might try and catch one more and then we'll come back. We've got 4 hours, so it's a bite then. I'm looking. Tell you what, there's bits of trees and falling down here now. Going on with that rig now. Yeah, I need to get, maybe a jig is better than a normal fixed rig. So you're not going to miss many bites on a jigger. But on this rig, if you're not in the right depth. Like, yeah, we had that carp, but I'm thinking now, maybe you should pick up my other jigger, back up. Bad feeding. I need a little reset now. Try and flip my rig past, keep everything tight. Yeah, I need to go back on the jigger. So try and catch you one more, but that's a little good start we've had, shallow. Just feel like we need to get a few things right. Before we can. Something banging behind me. The wind is terrible. Go back out with the jigger, slap him in, bite straight away quite high up then. What I might need to do is just go into my bag and shorten one. Maybe get another one, but set it like 2 foot deep so I'm not having there. It's definitely the right rig, but I feel like I'm having to chase around. And the wind's just catching out the thing. Ooh, they're the fish I sort of thought we were going to catch, little stockies like that, but pound fish, but yeah. 14 fish, not bad really, little start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plod on, just try and find a little shorter jigger and see how we get on. Hopefully keep catching. Right, so we are an hour and 12 minutes in. And it's becoming a proper, probably bagging fest. I've got one net full, so I clicked 40 pound in my nets, and then I've got one net full and I've just caught an F1 £2, so we've had a mega run shallow. Everything we're catching has been massive. Now what's happened is every time I feed, like literally now, every time I feed, is the fish are rising dead high. So all I've done is just picked up a tiny dibber, set it about 10 inch deep, and I'm just feeding over the top, and I'm not slapping my rig, I'm not moving it. I slap it now and again, but I don't move it as much, and I just leave it hanging there, and the fish rise up, and that's how we're catching them. And they're massive. It's probably turning into probably one of the best night matches I've ever had. And we've still got probably, we feed in the edges and you can see fish in the edge, so it could be a massive weight on the cards. Like you see that one there, I can hardly pick that up. Like that there, that's a massive, I'm not even going to try and pick it up. Easily £2 plus that F1. So just keep plodding away, literally just putting on a little bit bigger 4mm, going out to the mark. Now it's a little bit easier to control my rig with a little bit shorter piece of line, so all I'm doing is flicking my rig in, trying to keep it still and just loose feeding over the top. I'm not lifting and dropping, I'm not slapping loads. If I feel like I need to make a bit of noise, I will do, but literally I'll just slap over now, and I'm just waiting for them fish to rise up. I'm going to catch him that way. Now we have tried catching on a jigger, but it's been absolutely pointless because the wind's moving my jigger around and the fish are sitting too high. I feel like the jigger's more effective when the fish are like 2 to 4 foot deep or even deeper. See that there, hanging it. Loose feed them 6mm. I'm probably going to have a drop on that in a bit. Might have a drop on it in a minute just to see. Oh, the first little stocky fish we've had, but yeah, I'm probably going to drop on that to see, and if it is good and I feel like I can get away with it, I am going to bring it closer. So what I mean by that is I'm going to bring it like a top kit. I'm not going to mess around. There's fish coming in that edge there, so I've no hesitation that the fish will come in a little bit deeper water, a bit closer to me. Just keep feeding it, a few 6s. Now this time just maybe feed before we go out, might get a quicker fish. This is the thing with shallow fishing, it's no set plan, but it's about trying to make the most with little runs of fish and trying to catch them fish a little bit quicker. Now don't get me wrong, we are having an absolute... We've drawn our socks off today, wind coming in, perfect fishing, but not having to feed much, just nice and regular. 15 to 20 pellets twice. Making sure. Now what you'll find is them fish are just going to rise up, so that's how you've been capturing them. You don't get many signs, but when you do, it's normally one fish in the mouth. So you see the odd swirl, you get the odd pluck on it. I think when there's competition there, they just nail it. Said before, you don't really get many on the slap, you just normally leave it hanging. Make sure your bait goes round your float. Don't be wrong, you can pick up a jigger, but normally you just see these dark shapes come up. You have little runs, but every time you catch one, it's normally quite big. There you go. So yeah, we're having... I do apologise about the wind, but there's nothing we can do. I don't feel like it's causing... That's a nice big one again. That much havoc, it's like round the trees sort of at the top. Proper fish. Like I said before, we've still got the edges to go. Hopefully we can capture them, because then that's when we're really going to put a weight together. We are at the minute, but I think when them carp, let it go on a jigger. Them carp turn up, you're talking like £4 to £10 fish, as where these F1s are just £2 average, so you need a lot less fish. Keep that tight. There we go. Jigger does allow you to search the water a little bit easier. So you see there's a fish there right at the top now. Probably gone past it with my jigger. All I'm going to do, loads will start, flick him up. Flick him up. There you go. I'm going to keep them lines topped up just because I do feel like they're going to be the killer lines to catch a massive weight. But at the minute, one thing I could do if I did start catching fish trying to get under the keep net there, I knew that was going to happen. The keep net's gone out a bit. Put that down for a sec. Just try that long line rig. I'm going to put it about 16-inch deep. So we'll see whether them fish are sitting a little bit deeper. You'll be able to see this because it's a sort of bristle, so we'll get a few lines and stuff if we are fishing a bit too deep. Yeah, there's fish swirling again. There you go. As you can see, it is absolutely solid. But I feel like I need to get on the right rig to make the most of it. So what I mean by that is I feel like, yeah, we've had a few on this, we've had a couple on a jigger, but I feel like the best rig either for it is going to be this long line, depends where that fish is hooked, and it's actually hooked in the side. This long line 4x8 or little. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to change the shotting pattern on it. So what I mean is, put the rubber on, I'll put all the shot down the line. So it's quite positive, so if anything grabs it on the way down, it's going to sort of like nearly hook itself sort of thing. Now, the wind isn't too bad now, it's just a bit swirly. As before, it was right in the face and it's hard to catch. There you go, that's better. That's better. Okay, a little bit quicker bite now, just because we're not waiting for them fish to rise, because we're going to sort of where they are, so this might be a good little rig for just, at the minute, trying to catch them. But as you can see, absolutely quality fish. This is the thing, when you draw pegs like this, there's no point setting up loads and loads of kit. It's just about setting up the right kit. So make sure my shot's in the right place, just so it makes it in life easier. You're going to their sort of like their level now, and you're probably fishing like 6 inches deeper than you are in the dibber, but with F1 fishing that makes a massive difference. Lift and drop. For if you can get them fish to hang themselves, like when you flick your rig in. But this is the thing, when you drop a little bit deeper, just makes your life a little bit easier because you can read your bristle. As where a jigger, you don't really get that. You just have to sort of like either guess or. Now, one thing you are going to have, if you don't get one straight away, you start loose feeding and stuff quite regularly, you're going to have the fish come up on you. So it might be the best time just to pick that dibber up. Have a go with that again, but ring the changes. Start missing a few bites on this. I feel like I need to pick up my dibber again, so I'm going to come back, literally just shoot that. Not mess around. Put that down. The jig I need to put on the clamp on. Pick my dibber up again. Nice 4mm. Back out, so. I don't know where that was then. So now, because I feel like the fish have rose quite a bit, just cut the feed down a little bit. Lots of fish swirling, so. I hang that bait there and then just literally, that's been the best way to catch him. But I'm so glad I didn't try and be clever. Yeah, that's a bite. I'm so glad I didn't try and be clever and fish further out. I just felt, I'm going to keep that limb lines topped up. I just felt like I'd been wasting time. It's quite difficult to ship back here because it's quite a high bank. So, just nice and comfortable. Feed that edge line again. I'm going to pop that one again, micro pellets. Now, one thing that happened before is when I potted the ground bait, the first couple of feeds, obviously the fish come straight in and it's clouded it up, but as I've started to feed less and less ground bait and more micro pellets, just seeing a lot more fish and less colour. That's a big F1, that one. Jesus wept. That is huge. I had some absolute crocodiles today. That's an easy 4.5, 5 pound again. So yeah, pop that in. Where's my cupping kit? Got a little bucket of micros there. All we're doing is just putting a little sprinkling of corn in with my micros, just so. That's what I feel like when I fish as a hook bait. I don't really want to fish worms and stuff, but I've just been putting pot of that in, pot of ground bait to top that up. Gone in. Just gonna have a little look. Right on film on that line, because if it doesn't go, and I feel like I need to change it, I'm going to do that, because I feel like it's a little bit too far, but see if there's anything there. You watch, it'll probably go straight under. I'm going to throw my bait just down that shelf a little bit, so I've not got loads of fish around me float. That's one thing I can do. If I don't feel like it's the right place to do it, I will just bring it closer. Said before, if I catch fish in these edges, they're going to be a lot bigger than they are out there. Yeah, that's a bite. Oh dear. Hold on. This is not very nice. Just go in. Think of what I'm going to do though. I know I've caught one there. Because I've caught one there, I just want to do it dead close. I don't. If I got in there and the fishing was a little bit harder, I feel like I'd have probably not done it as quick, but I just feel like chucking them on a top kit or top kit and a short free just make my life a little bit easier. Oh, it's come off that one. It's actually snapped me. Great. Yeah, so that is, confirm my decision, is I'm going to put it The only problem with the clay pit is obviously God knows what's in it. Rocks, bits of steel, metal, could be anything. And you just get random, now and again when them fish dive down, you get random like snap your hook length. Now I'm fishing 017, so it's not going to snap just out of the blue, so it's probably grazed against something. I'm just going to see, in line with that one there. There we go, a little bit further. Might hold on to my free just because. There we go, that's where I'm going to fish. In line with Alan there. That's where my new line's going to be. Nice and simple there. So that's where my new line's going to be. Had a little drop, foul up one. So, not foul up one, got snapped on something. Definitely in the mouth though, it felt nice in the mouth. So we'll have one more sheller and then we'll call it a day for this little catch up. But it's been good so far. Obviously we're keeping everything topped up, keeping the lines fed, keeping both edges fishing. Changed that one, so hopefully in the next half an hour or so we'll have a little drop on it again. What's that? Roach? It's gone. We'll drop on the left hand edge and maybe catch a few carp on that, but I am feeling us catching on that one. But for now, just feel like trying to persevere with this shallow line. Keep ticking over. There you go. I've got a roach now. I think I've just started. Feeding maggots or something. Not a good sign, but I said before, I don't feel like I'm going to be out on this line later on in the match. Just feel like fishing's going to get too good. You got to focus on the edge to try and catch a real big weight. Oh, what the hell is going on here? This is absolute wind. Terrible. It's weird, it's like swirling down. Well, that could have been costly. The GoPro just dropped. So I think what we're going to do is just persevere with this, give it 40 minutes or so, see if we can catch any more, keep putting them in the net, and then try and work on how we can go about catching them edge fish, because obviously there's a few fish coming in and I feel that's where it's really going to get killer weight. So just try and sort out all the mess that the wind's just caused and then we'll come back and see how we got on. Right, so we're coming up to an hour and a half left and we've got £100 on the clicker. So it's been ridiculous, to be honest. We've caught really well. I've had to keep feeding shallow because that's probably one of my best lines. But I've probably caught 30 or 40 pound on them 6mm, just throwing them there. Everything I caught on that was massive, but now just feel like I want to have a go on this right hand margin. Put the pole down, try not to break it. So literally I'm going to clump my bait in. As you can see, I'm not like dead close to the bank, but it's nice and flat there. So I'm just hoping like that little clump, and when the fish come in. Now what we've been finding is when I've been feeding it, it doesn't take long for the fish to start to come into your peg and tail up. So what I mean by that is when I'm feeding, I can see a fish literally before I go to feed my pot again. So literally all we need is just a little quick response from him. Now if I do, there's one. If I do like feel like I was going to miss a fish, I'd just come back and feed again, but I am going to keep throwing some fours out there because them fish are really easy to catch. But with this elastic, we've got a nice 17 hollow on, nice strong main line, 021 main line, and then I've got an 017 hook. Oh, you bugger! Fanning around with that. That's not ideal. Got an 017 hook length and a size 14 XSH. Just a pre-tie, but it's 4-inch. But that was not ideal. Just pulling a little bit too hard then. Make sure my bulk's down. Just micros, large pot. Just create a little thing. Keep feeding them fours out there. Keep throwing them sixes down there. One sec. And now I'm at that tree where it's nice and flat. Nice clump of micros, straight on top of it. Nice heavy rig. So before that was a quick response really of what's come in my peg. Might have been under the chin or something, but might have come off. See, if I set a little indication there, fish going from a rig, so I won't be scared again. Yeah, it's gone out the peg. Just need to go out the peg. This is what happens sometimes, just before they settle down. You might have a little bit too many fish in the peg. Piece of corn on. So you might need to catch in a few, but keep feeding them sixes because a few fours. Just because I feel like when I went on that 6mm before, that was really, really good. Literally, it was nice and positive. Sat there and it just went wallop under. So there's a fish in my peg straight away there. Because I'm not tight to the bank. Actually caught a stocky. That's actually nuts. Because I'm not tight to the bank, you might get a few fish go around the rig and stuff, but that's the first stocky we've had. So sometimes that shell line has been the one. Caught really well on that, but just thought it's that time now of the night where I need to try and catch on them close lines. So just going to pop my bait in line with that tree, drop my bait in, put the rig straight on top of it. Nice piece of corn. See how quick they are on it there. Can probably get away with going into shallow water if I need to, but just going to persevere with what I'm doing at the minute. Just going to give it a chance. I'm not going to try and chase my tail and try and push into shallow water at the minute. It's just nice and flat there, so I thought if I can get a little area where them fish want to come and eat on. Now one thing is I did feed some ground bait there before, so what might happen is there might be a bit of cloud in the water, and as soon as that drops down then fish start grubbing around them micros. That's what I'm thinking is going to be better. That's a better bite. That's why I've just chose to fish micros instead of ground bait. I know people fish a lot of ground baited dead maggots on this lake, but I just like to. I felt like I've done it in the past before where micros is a little bit better. You don't have to feed as much, but it's just sometimes that attraction of that ground bait is a killer. Now the ground bait I've used today is the new cart one from Sonia Bait, so it's nice and heavy. It's got some particles in it, which I think is really important, but I feel like you want a nice heavy ground bait when you're fishing for carp. As well, I'd like to use match method when I'm fishing for F1s, but when I'm fishing with carp, I either like chunky fish or I've just had to give this new ground bait a go. Try not to pull him off this time. Let's see, you only need, probably got £100 on the clicker, but probably a little bit more, probably. So I've got strong gear on, it's still pulling. We're well known for it on the pit here. Trying to get around the board now. Already had an F1 do that to me. Keep feeding that pole line while we're waiting. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice and positive? Just literally, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go because I just feel like that micros, if I do feel like a load of fish coming in the peg, I can always put like a medium pot there. I feel like if I was potting groundbait there now, it'd just be an absolute mess. The fish won't be able to pick out my hook bait. It's a good sized fish actually. They're the ones you want. Can't moan at that. Ooh. I'm flipping around. Yep, they're the ones we want. Well, it might just take a few fish to get caught, just to slow it all down, but all we're doing, just found a big piece of corn, nice big bit, put it on like so, filling up with micros, going out, feeding our 6mm, quite aggressively, throw a few 4s as well, keep them F1s happy out there, and try again now. We've got a bit of rubbish in the peg, but lean forward. Drop the micros in. So why I've chose fish there as well, like I said, it's flat, so like I'm too worried. It's not like on a cliff edge, it's nice and flat where I'm fishing, so imagine them fish coming up the shelf there, literally sneaking up onto that little plateau, and if there's enough bait there, it'll make them nice and easy to catch. So that's the theory anyway. So I think that last one we had that pulled off just might have been hooked under the chin, but that one was clean in the mouth, that one. Try and get around that. The carp just tailed up right by my rig. Ooh. So I mean, I'm not having to feed a lot of bait to get a fish into the peg, which is good. I don't know what that one's doing. Doesn't feel right, but it might be okay. Again, I'm just going to feed my 6mm. It might be a little bit easier to catch him there. That's why I've done two different sort of scenarios in the edge, because last thing I wanted to do is have one literally just go two shallow water swims and just persevere on that. Sometimes the fish are weird. That's a big fish, that. That's a nice fish. Actually, that way. Where is he? Near the top of the head. Yeah, I thought it was a bit weird. But I'll take him. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 2 big worms on. Big standout bait. 2 big worms. See if we get. Slap him over. Stun him. So fill that up. Chuck my 6s in. Chuck them in, chuck some 4s where I can. Not too fussed about that. Now what you might find is, because I'm not feeding like 250mm down this edge now, because I'm feeding like a little large pot, it's not going to attract loads and loads of fish. So if I start to catch a few now, like I say, they might take a little bit longer to come in, but I'm hoping I get some nice clean bites. It makes them a little bit easier to catch. That's what I'm going for. So just put 2 worms on just to see if that big standout hook bait. So obviously that fish wasn't in the mouth, it was in the top of the head. But they were grubbing round, so might need to feed a little bit less, like a medium pot. Just spooked out the peg there. But that was all me thinking of why I fish micros, is because I just feel like if I fish ground bait there, off the bank, it's just going to make it a nightmare. It's nice when you get a nice clean flat bottom, but that doesn't seem right either. You see, just because the fish are coming in, it doesn't seem... Yep, see, it fell off. The worm's still on, so they're not picking out my hook bait, which you need them to do, really. So I'm just gonna, what I might do if this keeps happening, I might just put a piece of corn back on and literally go in with my cut down large on, just to try and slow the amount of bait coming in the peg. Because there's fish there, I can see them, I can see signs of fish, just trying to pinpoint and target in that little area. Like that, I may be better off just putting my rig right against the bank, but I can't see it properly. I just felt with that flat bottom there, it's nice. What I could always do is have a little drop down that left hand side, see if there's any fish there. Because before when I did it, I had one like £10, one £8 quite quickly as well. A little bit deeper water, sometimes you find you get them bigger fish, as where the fish I suspect to catch in this edge where I am now is probably like £4 to £6 sort of like size, as where down on that 6 mils I feel like I could easily catch 2 or 3 fish in double figures. So it's not too bad at the minute. Just keeping it nice and tight. Right then. I'm just going to literally drop my pot size down. Don't feed any ground bait, just feed pellets still. A bit of scale on me up there. Throw them 6 mils there. Might have to have a drop on that in a minute. Also, is it? Yeah, that's what I thought's happened. Bat shots just slid down and caused me a few problems. Right, let's get it ready to rock. But like, the thing is, it might be like with 2 worms, it might be like not the pick out hook bait that what they want. Might have to literally put in, like a piece of corn might be the best hook bait. Just trying to find, but I just thought a nice big visual hook bait. Try and tempt them fish, but yeah, that's a bit better. My rig's sitting a bit nicer now. It's against a twig, but something pulling out there. I do just have a little plumb up again just to make sure I am that flat spot, and then I might feed it again. Just have a little drop on that. Try and find a plummet now. There it is. Have a little drop on that little flat spot to my left. Just to make sure I'm in the right bit. Sometimes you find if you do, yeah, probably a little bit too. Yeah, I need to be a little bit close to the bank. That's where I want to be. That might have been just in the wrong place. Give it a go. A little bit less bait this time. Try and get the rig in the right place. Always worth doing that. If you feel like if something's not right, just literally give it a little plumb up again. So I want to go to the back of that there. That's where I want to be. To be fair, no wonder we're probably getting a few signs and indications because not on the bottom properly. So yeah, miles difference now. There you go. What an absolute plonker I am. So basically what you don't want to do is fish in the wrong place because you can't catch them properly. What an absolute tool. Sat there like a noodle. Just shows just that little change. It's mad. That's probably gone 6-7 inches further close to the bank. That's a big fish as well, that. The only problem is them F1s are a lot easier to catch, a lot nicer to play. These carp just pull your arm off and want to fight you all the time. But a classic. It's a little mistake there, but hopefully now we've got the right size pot on, got the right hook bait on. That's a big fish, that. Come on. Got the right hook bait on. Fishing in the right area because I'm an absolute idiot. That's a big fish, that. Come on, fold him over. Whoa. Go on. Stay up. Fight on our hands here. Giddy up. There we go. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, they're the ones we want to catch. What an absolute clown. Probably sat far away from him. Proper clay pit warrior, that one. Right, so I'm gonna plod on. I'll tell you what, we'll try and catch one more on camera. Seeing as I didn't fish in the right place to try and catch one. See if it is a myth, and I'm gonna keep feeding that. Keep feeding that. Now I know that's shallow, but I can literally go out there and catch an easy 10 or 12, 15 pound dead quick. See, them fish are tailing up there now. I literally pulled the elastic out of that. That just goes in a nice clean bite again. I'm an absolute idiot. There's fish gone behind it, but they'll come around the front now. Probably a group of 3 of them there. It's the best thing about edge fishing, you can see them, little boil behind there. Go on. Oh, is that in the mouth? That is the weirdest thing ever. The fish that I've seen tail up, this ain't the fish. I swear it's like an F1 or something. It might be a carp, but it's the strangest thing ever. So the wind's calm. Oh no, it is a carp. See that there? I've just fed my bait then, and the F1 just swirled. Really high up them today. I must literally draw my plums off today because there's a lot of big fish here today. Normally I just expect to catch stockies and a few fish in the edge. That's what I thought we'd be doing today. Thought we'd be doing a lot on the jigger and then literally odd fish on that 6mm line, then focusing on that feeding micros. But we've got the feeding right now. We cut down large. We're in the right area, which was the important bit. And now put an actual real weight together now. But as soon as I get this fish in, I've probably got 3 nets full with an hour to go, so I can fill another net. We're going to be looking on maybe 180, 200 pound, and feel like the size of the fish that we've just caught there, 2 fish and 2 chucks, and maybe a little run shallow or something. Could easily catch 50 pound. Would be nice to try and catch 200 pound in 4 hours. That's a lovely day's fishing. Like I said before, it's probably one of the blackest matches I've ever had on this lake in an evening. Like I said, the last time that I fished on this lake, stop waffling crap and just get this fishing. Last time I was on this lake, I think I had like 30, 40 pound. There's only one with like 80, but I think it's lived up to its potential today, and it's good. We got it live on camera, but we still made a few mistakes. That's mad thing about match fishing. Nothing's perfect. There's always different things. I wanted to fish 30 metres. Just thought, sod that. Got my margin pole out because it's really windy. It just still caught me at 7 metres, and we could still catch a few on them 6mm as well. I'm probably going to pot this, get this fish in, pot this, probably go shallow for 10 or 15 minutes. I can easily catch 6 or 7 fish in that time. I know it sounds silly, but there's a lot of fish out there. And then I'm going to decide, I'm probably going to focus on like fishing in the edges later on. Let's get this fish in. So focus on the edges, either side. Just see if I can catch some carp and try and get me over that 50 pound barrier that I need to catch. There we go, that's got it. Lovely. It's in the mouth as well. Yeah. So I'm going to slip him in the net, get the edge filled in, and I'll come back I've been bit by something. A wasp. Stung by a wasp. Lovely. I'll come back when we're catching a few in the edge. Right, so we're coming up to the last 15 now, and I've clicked 150, but I always just click to 40, so we could have a little bit more. I do think we'll be close to 200 now. Where I've been catching now is on, I've literally had to fish a top kit line. So literally here, right next to the pallet, I've just been catching, throwing in like 6 to 10 pellets twice, 8mm on the hook. Every time I turn the film on, it goes a bit windy again. Yeah, we've had some big fish on this line. So I just thought I'd end on it because we catch 2 or 3 carp on it. Now I have potted some bait down that right edge in case we need to drop on it for any unbeknown reason. But they've been quite hard to catch in that right edge. They're coming in, but it's just a little bit difficult. As where this is just nice and patient, sit there, got a nice thick bristle on. Nice big 8mm, chucking in pellets quite regular. I'm not just sitting there and waiting, I'm chucking in quite regular, and because I come close to myself, it just allows me to feed quite less bait but more regular. So I'm just trying to get around my float, make that commotion, and what you find is a lot of your bites are like now, what they are, when under. They're like that, then when the bait's gone in a little bit, it's like the fish are following it down to the bottom. Now, I probably, looking at it now, should have really come into the bank a little bit more. Now what I mean by that is I should have come to like maybe 3 foot. That might have been a little bit better to try and catch these fish, but I just decided just to come nice and close to myself on a top kit. And we did have a nice run of 2 or 3 carp, which were quite big. But you do get a few signs. That's foul hooked. There you go. You get a few signs. I do think there's an odd F1 about. So that's what I think your signs are off. But because you've got a 8mm pellet on, it's a bit too big for them. But like you say, just wade through it. It happens. You're not going to hit every bite and connect with every fish in the mouth, but when you do get a run on this line, there seems to be a real big stamp of fish. Just about being patient and striking at the right bite. Like I say, I'm getting a lot of indications there. It's telling me I really should have just dropped in a bit shallower water, but because there's like 10 or 15 minutes left, I'm not going to bother now. I'm just going to keep it nice and tight. I'm not going to loose feed loads, I'm just going to loose feed regular to try and pin them fish to the bottom. Sit there with a nice big positive upbait on. Just making sure that you do strike at the what you think is going to be a carp bite. Obviously, you're going to get F1s. I've had an odd skimmer there as well, where they're going to be plucking at the 8mm trying to get it in the mouth. But when a carp comes, it literally just buries, shoots under 100 miles an hour. Yeah. So looking back, I think if we just fished shallow front to back, we'd have had absolute stupid weight today. But like I said before, it's fun catching carp and it's a nice way of fishing, but you don't need half as many. That's the thing, if these big carp start to feed, you don't need half as many of them as you will when you're fishing shallow. You can have runs of smaller fish. Like we've been lucky today, I've been in the wind, so I've obviously had bigger stamp fish, but if you were to draw out the wind sort of thing, I feel like you could easily catch stockies, and that turns first 2 hours £100 shallow into like £30–40, then you're playing catch up, so that's when you need your carp. But like I say, because I've been lucky today when I've been fishing caught them big F1s shallow. Just having a little, not got it right at the end, that's what's the thing. They were quite hard to catch before I dropped in this line on that right edge. Coming in and just going past me rig, not like they were before when we caught some, but just keep persevering with this, you might get a carp or two. And you just shoot under a couple of times and away you go. But I've gone quite positive in my hook length, put a 14 kkh onto 019 just because I just feel if I started catching really well there, I don't feel like when they're sucking an 8mm it's going to make too much of a difference. A few bubbles come up. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Made that mistake before. There's a nice little flat spot there. It's not too wide, but nice little flat area. Just want to keep my rig on that. I don't want it drifting off and moving away. Fish grubbing around there because there's a bubble coming up, so disturbing the bottom somewhere. So it takes them just to find my nice big 8mm on the bottom. Looking back now, I've only got 6 minutes left, so maybe we should have literally, for the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes, stayed on that right edge and just persevered with it, but the little run I had on this before that I went on it was just giving me a bit of confidence, so I felt like I could drop back on it again and catch a couple of carp. Like I say, sometimes you do this in night matches where you drop on lines and you think that'll be solid now because it's got later in the day. What you find is the carp might want to come right into the bank, or they might have dropped back into the lake because it's gone a bit cooler. That's why I find them a bit weird, night matches, because they do different things that we're used to. Obviously they're not used to getting fish for at that time, so they might be a bit more spooky, but I can't moan today. I've had a right load of bites. Had a good day's fishing, or night's fishing, so we say. Just this little bit of an end, it's not gone right, but I can't moan. Just gonna stick with this now. Carpy that bite. What it takes is a couple of carps drifting, and you literally put easy 10 or 15 pound in it. I do think them stabs and stuff, the little F1s and odd silverfish or something, they're not carp, the carp bites. That's a foul fish, that. The carp bites you get literally flies under at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, that's alright though. do think I maybe on this line I should just come into the bank a little bit, but I haven't been on this lake for ages, to be honest, for sort of fishing a match, so I didn't know whether it still sort of worked, but it's a great line to catch them on. Then fish aren't feeding in that shallower water, but they were today, yeah. Some days it's like killer edge, you can literally... It's far locked again. It's the problem, you know, when you're in the wrong depth of water. Yeah. In the wrong depth of water, this is what the signs are. Now, if I was probably like half an hour to go now, I probably would literally move my rig up into like 3 foot. But, like I said before, I've got 2 minutes to go, so there's no point even trying to do it now. Just be a waste of time. Foul up again. See, that's the problem. That's depth of water, that is. So if you have that little issue, what I need to do is go in a bit shallow water, but I can't because I haven't got really much time left. So I'm just going to drop back in there and hope, like I said before, a big carp comes along and eats my bait. What we find is that could easily be like a small F1s or little stocky carp, because there's loads in here, and because we're fishing in a little bit deeper water, they've got room to be in your peg. As where when you're fishing shallow water, you're only fishing in 2 foot 18 inch. There's not much space to get a load of fish, but when you're fishing like double that, you can get a lot of fish coming in and out, give you signs, give you indications, give you these what problems we're having now. So if this was happening probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes earlier, I'd just plumb up into a bit shallower water. What I'm going to do is feed a bit more aggressively for the last chop. You'll probably find them fish are coming off the bottom and eating them pellets. That's why we're getting loads of like signs and jagged bites. But so that's the end. A little disappointing end, but to have probably one of the best night matches I've probably had. But we'll get weighed in, see what we had, do a little conclusion. But absolutely solid on that shallow line, and then the edges I haven't really got right. I feel like I should have literally persevered shallow, but I always want to try and catch some carp in the edge. It's fun, it's exciting. So yeah, can't moan. Just probably a bit over-analysing things a bit. I've had a great night's fishing, going to get weighed in, packed up, and I'll see you when I've weighed in, and hopefully we've won the match, and see what weight we've had. Right, so we're all weighed in now, and they've been miles bigger than what I thought them F1s. I've actually weighed like 222 pounds, so unreal night's fishing, class venue, had loads of big fish. Don't get me wrong, it's not been, this sounds stupid, so I'm not even probably going to, it's not been plain sailing. Probably made a few mistakes with trying to force things at different times, and to be honest, I think there was that many shallow fish there. I think the match, if we're looking outside perspective, is, without sounding an idiot, is the match was just fish shallow, put some micros in the edge. That was one thing I really found, and as well, obviously I fished in the wrong place at that time of the micros. That cut down large pot was a lot better, not too much bait, so I wasn't getting as many fish in my peg. Piece of comb was the best hook bait, worms wasn't as good, but you just think when the fish are there, you think it'd be easy to catch them on anything, but it just proves that hook bait's really important and how much you feed's really important. So I've had a mint match, I've had a class. It couldn't have gone any better, to be honest. I had loads shallow, on a jigger, on a fixed rig, and then we've caught a few on that top kit line, probably caught 60 pound on that, so I can't moan about that thing, fishing that. And then I've had a few in the edge as well, so unreal night's fishing, class venue, good one to get a live match done. So thanks for watching, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and I didn't sound much of an idiot saying tried to learn a few things, but just to analyse my match and think that last half an hour, I think it's because I just think it happens on these night matches, and maybe the carp just drifted back into the lake. They've had the feed now, they've gone back into the lake. Maybe that's what it is, I don't know. That's why I don't really fish a lot of night matches and stuff. I don't really get a chance to, but like I just find they're frustrating because the fish do different things than we used to, and it's so confusing. But we've had a class day, I'm not moaning at that. Loads of bites. Hopefully you enjoyed the footage, and don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below any future videos, any venues you wanted me to go to, just to see. Don't get me wrong, Weston's my bread and butter in my fishing, but I don't mind venturing out and having a go at new things. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.